Scene 1. The night of the masked ball, Beatrice speaks plainly that she finds Don John to be gloomy, and manages to bring the conversation around to Benedick, which shows that she cares for him. She jokes multiple times throughout this scene that she has no interest in having a husband. Don Pedro woos Hero for Claudio, but she does not know initially that he speaks to her not for himself. Benedick dances with Beatrice, and she says several mean things about Benedick, not knowing it's him. He's very upset by this and rages about her and what she said throughout the rest of the scene, at one point even asking Don Pedro to send him away on any errand. Don John pretends to believe he is speaking with Benedick, although he knows he is really speaking to Claudio, and professes that Don Pedro is actually in love with Hero and wooing her for himself. Claudio is upset and storms off like a schoolboy who has shown his bird's nest to his friend, only to have it stolen from him. Beatrice returns with Claudio, and Don Pedro reveals that he has spoken with Hero and Leonato. Claudio and Hero are engaged to be married the following week. Don John is angry that Claudio is marrying Hero, but his friend Borachio says he has a plan. He tells Don John that Hero's servant Margaret is interested in Borachio and he can get her to Hero's bedroom window. Borachio proposes that Don John tell Don Pedro and Claudio that Hero actually loves Borachio and have them walk by her window at a prearranged time, at which time Borachio will meet Margaret at the window. When they walk by, he will call Margaret Hero, thereby making them think that Hero is seeing another man, and that she is unfaithful to Claudio. Don John promises Borachio 1,000 ducats if the plan succeeds. Benedick goes for a walk alone in Leonato's garden in Scene 3 and considers how Claudio has changed since falling in love. He sees Don Pedro, Leonato, and Claudio approaching and hides in the arbor to eavesdrop on their conversation. There's a lot of this going around. Don Pedro and Claudio see him and decide to enact Don Pedro's plan. Don Pedro asks Leonato if it is true that Beatrice told her uncle she loves Benedick, and Leonato swears it is so. He says that she has tried to write him a letter telling him of her affection, but that she cannot because she has been so cruel to him in the past. Claudio says that Hero told him she found a paper with Benedick and Beatrice written all over it. They say they cannot tell Benedick because he is so proud and would only torment Beatrice about it. They say she would die if he loves her, die if she has to tell him she loves him, and die if he woos her. Benedick decides to requite her, to love her in return. Beatrice invites him to dinner sent by Don Pedro, and Benedick tries to be kind and look for marks of love. We see our three themes again in Act 2. Some examples of where we see deception are first when Don John tricks Claudio into thinking that Don Pedro is wooing Hero for himself. That's a big one because it hurts the relationship temporarily between Claudio and Don Pedro. Second, we see deception when Beatrice and Benedick are dancing with one another at the masquerade and they fool each other. Beatrice does not know that she is dancing with Benedick and says all kinds of mean things. We see the theme of noting when Benedick eavesdrops in Scene 3 on Don Pedro, Claudio, and Leonato, and hears that Beatrice is in love with him, which of course changes how he acts around her. And lastly, an example of where we see the theme of star-crossed lovers in Act 2 is when Claudio gets jealous while Don Pedro entertains and woos Hero at the ball. And we see that tension and how precarious their relationship is.